I guess 6 p.m., so we'll call the meeting to order. Andrew, would you mind with the roll call?
Yes, Marty Basic, out here. Jim Capucci.
Here.
Ryan Crater.
Here.
Tom Probbins. Andrew Rankley.
Here.
Kevin Repchek.
Here.
Aaron Risden.
Yes.
Jason Ruggles.
Present.
And Elaine Visna is not here. Okay. Next item on the agenda, the meeting minutes.
Is there a motion
So
to
moved.
adopt?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of adopting the minutes?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Are there any members of the public on?
No.
Okay, no citizen comments. I will reserve my comments for the trash discussion. As Tom and I have some updates there. So first up is the commission
Liaison?
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome.
Well, thanks. At the beginning of January, we welcomed Margaret Izzo from Ward 2 and Nick Petty from Ward 4 onto the commission, losing a couple of Steve, because you knew Steve, longtime people from the commission.
Surprised he's not here just as a citizen, as a perfectly concerned citizen.
Only if you have chocolate. I mean, that's really
Right.
his sort of crypto night, right? And last night we had a meeting as well, which was pretty perfunctory, because all we did was enshrine our ordinances that we had passed in 2025 to carry over into 2026. So we haven't really gotten into the meat of things. It's been more trying to bring the two new people up to speed. So we went through, all the projects we have, the grants, all that kind of stuff. So if you're really interested, you could go listen to the discussion session.
Yeah. That's all done.
And anytime you have questions, you can ask me. I mean, I'll just assume, you're gonna ask me if you have a question, right?
Yep, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, on to the old business. Are we go through trash? Is that on the list or is that for new?
That was old business. Did you want me to report on anything?
I was gonna say, I know that we had assigned the roles and responsibilities to different groups.
I was just saying there was the staff liaison report, which
Oh, I'm
was
sorry.
item 5,
I
but
apologize.
you don't have to have me
No,
talk.
please, go ahead. I'm sorry, I skipped over you. I apologize.
Nicole is probably tired of hearing me talk today. We had a heavy training day today.
Got it.
But yeah, Terry, as you know, was her last meeting. Your last meeting was her second to last day. She's since retired. We hired Nicole. We welcomed her with open arms. She's been doing a great job hitting the ground running. She has month end, quarter end, year end, budget, all the budget final preparations, all within the first 30 days. So she's handled it well. Sometimes that hair got a little curlier with all the stuff that I'm giving her, but she's doing great. So
Hey, I still have it in my head.
hey, I don't want to hear it. I don't know if that's a dig on me, but it's okay. So it's been doing great. So the year is shaping up well for 25 as to be expected. There was nothing indicating that we wouldn't end up well. So we're just finalizing the numbers, getting year end done. And that's pretty much it. We'll schedule our pension advisory board meeting for February. So that'll be coming up. If anybody else would like to join that, feel free, but Tom and Kevin so far have been the ones doing that meeting. But if anybody's ever interested, feel free. I'm gonna have Nicole join us so that someone else can be a part of those meetings and understand what that is. She probably won't attend every one, but at the very least attend the annual one because it does tie into our year-end financial report. So that's all I have.
Excellent. Where did you come from?
So prior to being here, I was with Crown Castle for about 17 years. So I've always been in private.
Yeah.
This is my first stint in public. It transitions pretty easily. It's just a lot of terminology is different so far.
Yes, a lot of acronyms that she doesn't,
Yeah.
So
The dollars and cents are the same,
Yes.
just for different purposes.
the accounting is not the problem.
No.
So you know about the report, right?
Which report?
The important 40-plus year running report.
Yes.
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 That was,
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
Yes, we're almost at 50.
yeah.
Okay.
Next year we'll be 50.
the annual municipal statement.
We've won the
Oh, yeah.
Distinguished Award since 1976.
Okay, that's what we're talking
So
about, distinguished
50
award,
years,
yeah,
50 years next year.
yeah.
You're a
I
graduate.
will throw a party, I will throw a party again. So I threw a party at 40.
Yeah.
Parade.
Yeah.
Parade.
No, I brought all the former finance directors, Marcia was there,
Uh-huh.
Willie was there,
Uh-huh.
we threw, brought all the managers back, Bill Baldwin, everybody that
Yeah,
could contribute, would have contributed
to the report,
do
yeah.
that along,
Yeah.
to support that. People that were in the finance department, those types of things everybody's a team, down there. So I did that at 40 and I'll do it again at 50. It was fun. It was a nice night to say, hey, all the hard work is recognized and it's nice, so. Yeah. Maybe we'll upgrade from hula hands this time, so.
I have some suggestions.
Yeah, I might hook you up on that.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, so thank you.
Thanks for that update.
Mhm.
Okay, sorry, I skipped ahead. So back to the trash.
Trash.
So I know, again, we had assigned roles, so we have, trucks, feasibility, real estate, employment items, all alike. Yeah, I'm happy to start. So Tom and I were talking about real estate options, and we sort of bandied about several ideas, but a couple things I think were just the biggest takeaways. One is deciding whether or not do we want to take advantage of our municipal status and own things? So for tax exemption, not being hamstrung by other landlords or other things. The sort of second decision point is if we're going to go forward, we probably need to engage an advisor, a broker, at no cost, but with an NDA. One of the challenges that he and I both had is that there's very little information that we can gather without divulging too much, whether it be who we're asking for. If I call anyone about real estate, it's going to be in the paper. So that's a challenge for me. I do that for UPMC, so it's
Okay, I
it's a
see, yeah, that makes sense.
So we have limited access to information. Obviously, there's plenty of resources to do that. But, one of the recommendations that we'd like to bring forward at the appropriate time is if we decide this is something we want to do, we're gonna need to hit the ground running to find some locations. The other is, obviously the proximity, whether or not we plan to have future expansion or other services. I know, Andrew, one of the things that we've discussed, not just particularly for trash, but also for other municipal services, is sort of a next man up or next person up. Everybody shares responsibility. It's leaves one day, it's snow one day, it's working on the trucks one day. So how do we sort of put that together? That would obviously influence how far away this might be. Those were the big ticket items that we came up with. There are a couple of sites in reasonable proximity. One of the challenges we're gonna have is, again, what are our future prospects? We did sort of go down a rabbit hole of, if the trash thing doesn't work out, is it reasonable for Mount Lebanon to be on the hook for a piece of land in another county or 20 miles away or something like that? And what would we reasonably be able to do with that? So we sort of hit a dead end when it became, if we're gonna go to the next level, we need to have someone doing this on our behalf that can handle this in a discreet way without someone here being sort of tipped off to that, someone in the public being tipped off to that. Who'd like to go next?
Yeah, so Marty and I met and talked about equipment, truck purchasing, maintenance, fuel costs. We dumped some information into that one spreadsheet. Can't remember what that was, the name of that was, but
Aaron, I think Aaron started that spreadsheet. Yes?
Someone else had, I took it second.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yes.
but yeah, good working document. I think Marty, if you could touch on the trucks, you sort of spearheaded that effort.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what our appetite for buying versus leasing them is, but that's a different, kind of equation, obviously. Buying them is like a couple $1 million because we estimated 7 trucks based on our current, the current things that we take. So the side loaders are $420K to $450K, the rear loaders are $300 to $400. And so obviously a big chunk of money up front, but if we lease, that's a different, I can't remember what we do with the police trucks. I know we cycle through those, but I don't know if that's
Yeah, we own all of it except for the big, we lease 3 specific pieces of equipment.
Okay,
Because we get good trade-in value, we want to make sure that we have something that's not beat up that's showing up. So front-end loader, right, your bucket truck, those types of things. So
So do you-
we're gonna be doing a bucket truck for our signal equipment. We wanna make sure that that's ready to go.
okay. Do you foresee like likely leasing these vehicles, if we were to do this?
We ran like a basically an 8-year life cycle
Yeah.
cost analysis, what
Yeah,
seems to be the average for these trucks.
Yeah,
would
we're
be.
probably gonna lease them, I would
Okay.
imagine, yes.
Okay, I'll have to pull some numbers on that then and update this. The other thing is, I think I mentioned before that Swissvale has done this recently, they went in-house. I reached out to their Department of Public Works and he's willing to chat with us. I wanted to bring that to the group first to see if like, one, if anyone else wanted to join, probably someone will do a better job talking to him than me. And then two, like, if there's any questions that we want to ask him, just like let me know and I can bring that up with him. But as Andrew and I were going through it, we were like, we have Swissvale's budget, but we don't know like how many trucks they have. Like, we don't know how to kind of like go backwards on their budget to the actual costs. And so I think he would be a good resource to get that information from and also see like what their experience was, if they are like, yeah, this was been a terrible experience, like definitely don't go in-house, like that's, I think, also valuable data. So yeah, let me know if there's any questions that you want me to ask him specifically, or if anyone would like to join as well.
And then we sort of ran through, maintenance costs, we threw a number there, like 15 grand a year per truck for maintenance costs, thinking, I don't know, what the fire department spends on their fleet might be, heavy equipment wise, somewhat similar. Sort of with real estate, we threw some rough numbers together for mileage, for the trucks with fuel costs. I think we came up with, a little over $500,000 a year in fuel costs.
Sure.
Going up to 600,000 over an 8-year life cycle, so.
Does that include to like the storage depot, to the dump, to the
Yeah,
storage
that's,
depot to town?
Depot to Mount Lebanon,
Yeah.
3 trips a day to the dump, and we're running 20 miles a day per truck, so it's like 7,500 miles a week for the fleet.
Yeah.
So,
We figured with 6 trucks.
7 trucks, so it's, I mean,
We, one of the things we talked about too is like, the environmental element too. There's really not a lot of people are looking to have this, even if they're just parked there, but at some point you have to clean and maintain, you can't clean that out in any particular place, and that would be something about whether it's at the dump, but you can't wash it like you wash your car. And that was one of the pieces that was sort of impacting us, and I didn't know if that was a separate component where that might fall. 'Cause you can't just do that in the garage.
right, so some of that might be encompassed in our, 15K,
Yeah.
maintenance, tire, vehicle cost, some of that might be wrapped up in the manpower cost, and then that gets
Like an environmental compliance issue, right?
Or do you need like a concrete pad, to kind of like wash it and collect all
Right,
that wash
yeah,
water?
that just came up,
Yeah.
like, again, if you're buying a site, that's gonna be the first thing someone's gonna ask what you're doing with it, and that's gonna be the first opportunity to say no. Well, I mean, we talked about, like, the existing, the legacy players have been at these sites for years. I mean, it was probably a trash service 100 years ago that is now morphed into Republic or something else.
Yeah.
And so you can't go back and change that.
Right.
But the sites are typically, they could be anywhere because of their scale. So the proximity to us is gonna be the challenge. If this could be off in the middle of nowhere, but we service everything between here and there, it's a different story.
And Marty, that's probably a good question for Swissvale. I mean, if they are owning their own trucks, where are they storing them?
I'd love to know that, because maybe if there's a central depot, it doesn't mean we all have to maybe pitch in on, it's almost like MRTA in that regard.
That would be a good question to know where that.
MRTA has 3 stations.
Mhm.
So. Wow.
And then just as a curiosity with the equipment, with the trucks specifically, are you looking at those being the manual like they are now, or are they automated
So
trucks?
we split it into kind of like a hybrid of the two.
Okay.
I think ideally, like if the community has an appetite for it, automatic loaders seem to be the way that things are going, and they're obviously more efficient. Granted, like some streets we just physically can't fit that.
Right.
We can't put cans out there, so that's why we have 4 rear loaders and then 3 automatic side loaders right now in the lineup.
Okay. Good.
Can I just clarify on that too, since it impacts our area? Would you see all 7 trucks running pretty much full-time?
How I did the fuel cost is all trucks running 5
Okay,
days a
there's
week.
not like a spare truck or
Yeah,
anything?
I'm not sure exactly how it operates now with their fleet is, if they have 2 trucks a day or.
They do, so that's in the triptychs that are in there, so we can refine that based on that, but the trucks are making at least 2 dumps a day.
Yeah, because going like the haul tickets, they had 6 or 7 trucks on there, but I don't know if that was, which trucks for which day with their, how many.
Yeah, so I would go by the number of unique trips within a day would be the, number of trips that we need to make. And I believe that is in there.
Just a thought on that, though, is that, again, if we're talking about just Mount Lebanon, there's no scale to account for downtime. So one FTE call out can shut your whole operation down, or one truck. And so, does that mean you need 8 trucks or 9 or something, and 2 extra, I think the shared FTE model is what you can overcome some things. But again, if you're thinking about a legacy hauler, their downtime is not the municipality's issue. It's send the next truck, send the next person. I don't care if it's Steve, Tom, or Susie, and I don't care if it's a blue truck or a pink truck, it's coming. We don't have that luxury, so that has to be, we're gonna have to add some redundancy in there, just as we would with the police cruisers. There's how many are on the street, but there's so many more that are rotating in and out of service at all times.
I think we did some of that with the employee costs.
Yeah.
Built some extra capacity in there for call-offs, holidays,
Yeah,
pieces of
I was just thinking though that that these trucks are getting beat up, just like more in line with probably a police cruiser than a fire truck. Fire trucks
Sure,
are
yeah.
pristine, they are watched daily, they're just, that's like a museum piece. I know they get, but relatively speaking, they're not rolling as much. This is just a constant beat up of, and plus in and out, the types of things that are coming in.
Sorry, I'll get that info. I thought it was in here, but it doesn't look like it's in here where I wanted it to be, so. I have that information, so we can roll what those are.
Yeah.
Number of unique trucks, visits per day.
Yeah, we have like worst case scenario figured right now for.
Yeah,
the miles
we
per
have,
truck,
well, we
so.
can refine that. We have that data. I'm sorry, I thought it was in here with other stuff, but it's not, so. We'll make sure we get that for you.
And would that include recyclables and solid waste, or are they 2 separate activities with different trucks?
I think our 7 trucks we figured was everything.
You can do it
Right.
all.
Yes, yeah. It would most likely be separated that this is a recycle truck. I believe, that's probably a good question for Swissvale. To talk through that piece. Oh, there we go. It is in here. It's just in a pivot table, sorry. So it's an average of, for recycling, it's an average of 3 trucks a day in the town. And an average of 4 tons per truck. And the max trucks within the town within a day was 6. So that's usually probably around a holiday, where we don't pick up on a holiday. So then we have to, or a snow event, something like that. But yeah, so it's an average ton per trip, or per truck is 4 tons. So, but 3 trucks a day in town on average for recycling. And then for solid waste, it's an average of 5 trucks a day in town. Average tons per truck is 8 tons per truck per day. So.
And Kevin and I had disposal costs, and taking the trash and actually bringing it to the landfill, which I threw together a spreadsheet in the share drive there. And there's a few different costs associated with picking up the trash. There's taxes and fees, and they go to the state, as well as the dumping site. They charge a fee as well per ton.
Okay.
So I just took the average of the last 2 years, the tonnage, I
Okay.
just multiplied it, and came out to around 900,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than I was expecting.
Yeah, and I was trying to look, it looks like the invoices that we get are just they just show like the amount, there's not itemized, like,
Yeah.
or the tonnage, it just, so there wasn't much there. I had to kind of look at public or outside sources for like what a dumping site would charge.
Yeah,
per
we
ton.
don't, yeah, that's a built-in cost to the unit
Right,
cost,
yeah.
correct, yep,
Um,
yep.
Do you think do you think that, again, like a legacy hauler would have one rate and a one-off would have a second rate?
Yeah, I think it seemed more like depending on the municipality, the rates may vary, like a higher income municipality may get charged more than a lower income municipality is what I was seeing. There really wasn't much public information though about what these sites are charging per ton.
And also too, I mean, some of these legacy haulers own the site,
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
so,
Yeah.
it's kind of built into that factor of that cost, so.
Because the number we're shooting to beat is 5 million, right?
I would say more closer to 4 to 4.5,
Okay.
because that's what we're paying now,
Cost.
yeah.
Did we ever, I don't remember seeing it, but do we have a breakdown of cost of all the different input costs, like truck cost, fuel cost, dumping cost?
That's what we're gonna
labor?
start putting together.
Not even talking about us, I'm talking about from the vendors, like,
No.
like what's their.
No,
Yeah, it's just one invoice and
Yes.
here's the amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on your disposal side, is that also true for recycling?
That I couldn't figure out, so I just took all tonnage.
Okay.
All
So that's,
waste.
so the 900's including all tonnage, that if,
Correct, recyclable or other. The only other thing I think I mentioned, like hazardous waste, like it seemed all over the place with how
yeah.
different sites treat that, so I couldn't really get a,
yeah, we don't do the, it shouldn't be in our trash, so to speak,
Right.
but.
Does that account for those off days of, that there's every quarter or whatever where we have, we'll pick up something big?
That's something separate,
Okay,
we,
Yeah, checked out.
yeah, we do that separate, yeah. But the ones we do where you have one bulk item, is that what you're referring to? So that's considered within the tons.
Okay.
So, but anything that's a special like hazardous,
paint day or
paper
whatever
collection,
it is.
paint day and all that stuff, that's completely separate
Okay,
from
that's,
this,
yeah.
this
You
conversation.
mentioned it, right.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so that's good information. So we'll see if we can, that might be a good one for Swissvale
Yeah.
to compare what their tipping fees are,
Okay.
and their disposal costs, and then how recycling is then, because I imagine there's some rebate on some of it, potentially. I mean, there was a period of time 6, 7 years ago where there wasn't a rebate at all. You were threatened to actually pay a handsome fee if you had contaminated recycles. So we should see how they break that out for recycle versus.
Because there is a percentage of recycling that is contaminated, right?
Yeah,
People do pizza boxes, which you're not supposed to do.
Right.
glass in and of itself is a contaminant,
That's right.
so. That's why
And
for
I
5
get
years you
mad
couldn't
because
you
I
shouldn't
think
put glass in your
those
recyclables.
little things on
Yeah,
the
right.
bottom.
That's right, your codes.
Yes, so I yell, throw it across the room. Just plastic.
You?
I assume there's no incentive from the state for any kind of like in-house or service or.
I don't know that necessarily that, but they want you to go more, a number of years ago, there was a lot of money available, the money's kind of dried up when it comes to it, getting grants for bins and, those types of things. Even our recycling that we do now, which is only ever increasing, our leaf collection, all that different stuff, our grant that we would get for our tonnage is cut in half this year. So it's just, the money's just not there currently, unfortunately.
Shall we talk about employee costs?
Yes.
So Jim, Elaine, and I met, we talked about employee costs. A lot of it was driven by other pieces of the operation, so like number of trucks, for example. It's helpful to have that update, I guess, of how many trucks we're thinking, so we'll revisit our assumptions, make sure we have enough employees for those number of trucks. What we talked about, we built in some extra capacity for call-offs and, that kind of stuff, some redundancy, sick days. We looked at insurance costs, I remember that. We put a good bit of time into, making sure we had, which workers' comp appears to be quite expensive, like we expected for this kind of thing.
Yes.
So built that into the spreadsheet as well. We also took our best guesses based on the municipal pay scales at what would be appropriate rates. So if you see rates in there, Andrew, that look stupid, let us know, but we think we're probably somewhere in the ballpark.
Okay.
I'd be interested to listen in at least. I think if you guys have a call with Swissvale to, if anything else pops up and sounds relevant, and have a dialogue, so.
Yes, same.
I can set that up and then let everyone know when it is and whoever is free to join.
Cool.
Sounds great. So it looks like you had employees, you had administrative employees.
Yep.
You had labor management employees.
Yep.
PP&E training. Insurance costs was just workers' comp, or was that else?
It wouldn't be, general insurance. It's workers' comp.
Okay.
So
you doing any of the other benefits, pension, health insurance,
We
any
took
of
a
that stuff?
guess.
Okay.
Yeah, we took a guess.
Okay.
It might be low, it might be high, figuring, it'd be a higher percentage for some of the folks who make lower wage rates,
Okay.
and a slightly lower percentage for folks at management positions.
Yep. This is already getting expensive, holy cow.
Yep.
6.2 million we have in here so far. Oh, no, that's doubling that, sorry. Someone put a total
Are
up
they
on
built
it.
into your wage rate, or they backed out as like an overhead cost?
Workers' comp was its own line on the spreadsheet,
Yeah.
but based on payroll.
Yep, sounds good.
Isn't the rule of thumb like take the salary and add 30% for the total cost of employing someone?
Depends on your employee class.
Yeah, we went more aggressive than that. I would say we were probably, 10%-ish just for payroll taxes, maybe 30 to 40% for benefits, and then on top of that for your workers' comp.
So you're looking pretty, hopefully worst case.
Yeah, you guys, it looks like you guys did 40% for everything
That sounds right.
workers' comp, and then workers' comp, you did that on top of it. Yeah. Workers' comp's expensive for them, for
Yeah.
sure.
Lots of injuries,
That's why they're going with automatic trucks.
right?
Okay. All right, that's some good work. Awesome.
Yeah. Wow.
So when you're looking at this, I guess, that $4 to $4.5 million number we talked about, obviously there's like large upfront cost, right? Are you taking that and, annualizing that over lifespan to come up with that $4.5 million? I guess we're buying a land, have an initial upfront lease cost
Right.
for those trucks.
Right. Yeah, so we need to put that in. So I can get those numbers started for all those trucks. So,
Yeah, we can reach back out to we talked to one truck supplier, and I'm sure he's given us list price rate. There's probably a
Yes.
negotiation of a bid price for, 5, 10, 15% discount off that number.
yeah, the governments get a little bit different price, so.
Are there any other pieces of equipment that would be relevant besides the trucks?
Probably a good Swissville question.
Good Swissville question. We just keep coming up with them here.
Yeah, I went through, and not because I was in this capacity, but I'm thinking back in my old town, New Orleans, and the actual trash bidding, the amount of extraneous equipment that was involved in all the trash equipment, not just the loaders and not just the jumpers and anything like that, but all the other things that were part of that. And it always came down to who controlled the equipment. And some people controlled equipment and some people leased it or borrowed it. And they were always at a disadvantage. But obviously, if you have it in your control under a lease, that's one thing. But if you're using it as part of some cooperative endeavor, you're out of luck when it comes to, it's just who gets it first kind of thing.
Certainly, if we go purchasing a landfill, the equipment costs go through the roof with excavators and bulldozers and.
Right, yeah, I don't know, I'm just remembering it, like, we don't do street washing, we don't do street sweeping, we don't do those things like that you might have in a bigger city, things like that.
We have streets.
But
Doesn't- doesn't have a
in
Lebo
this-
logo on
In
it,
this,
yeah.
it's not in this,
Oh,
that's what,
yeah.
it's not all in the.
It's not part of the
No.
sanitation
trash,
department.
Sanitation,
That's
yeah,
right.
it's a
Yeah.
It's not a whole sanitation
Yeah.
department.
Which is probably a good
Handle
question,
it.
right? Where does this analysis go, right? If it's a purchase, it goes down this path, more equipment, more manpower, more land development costs versus just tipping fees at waste management dump site.
All right, well, I think the good plan of action is to get that phone call with Swissvale going.
Yeah.
I know West Mifflin does it, so that's a good one to
Oh.
possibly go for. And North Fayette also collects their salt for themselves. North Fayette has the advantage, they're right next to a dump, so, you know, there's some of that, but, also good people that we could probably reach out to as well. We can certainly start refining some of these costs, because the ultimate goal of this was to, I just want to make sure we get back to our vision. Our vision is, we don't have to have the specific number where we need to be right down, you know, sharpening our pencils. We really need to know, is it just on ballpark, are we way out of the water?
Right.
So let's make a educated, hey, are we even close? You know, and so we'll further refine those here in this first quarter, here the next couple meetings, get the meeting with Swissvale, get some of these questions answered, and be able to start drafting that to say, hey, it's at least feasible. Because I don't know, I mean, there's a whole operation that we go through. This is, if it's something the commission would want to do, and I'm not gonna speak for the commission, but, you know, there's probably a consultancy that needs to come in that says, hey,
Yes.
you might want to investigate this, because the process needs to start in 25 or 26. Because our contract's up in a couple of years, and it's gonna take a while to get there, and you're gonna need someone to shepherd that through, and it's certainly not the financial management board. And I don't think that's our charge is not that, so, all right.
Any interest, I mean, again, I referenced MRTSA, I mean, is there,
Shake on.
I mean, we have, you know, Swissvale, West Mifflin, and North Fayette, those are not, you know, Butler and Washington
Right.
County. I mean, is there any thought about it, any sort of cooperative or something like that?
I think that the commission direction was to do this first.
Yeah.
Then, if not feasible, start to approach that.
Got it.
Right. SHACOG is the South Hills Area Cog, and they do have a brand-new executive director, so.
Yeah.
But he is brand new. I mean, I think he started a week ago. So you may want to give him a little time before you start.
Speaking scale though, you save on executive costs, but you probably need, like, let's say we go to Upper St. Clair, we're gonna need the same number of trucks that they're using right now, because their trash days are the same days.
Sure.
Well, not everybody collects like we do.
Yeah.
So we collect every day. Not every township does. So those are things, when it gets to that level, that is a whole,
Right.
and that's part of the piece of why our collective bid, sometimes they've got a hedge so that if you do accept their costs, they're ready, right? So there's probably a little float in there for them, because if you accept their bid, they've got to be ready for you. So that may be where we may save some money, but,
I'm thinking maybe with other communities, they might have land that we can use for parking the trucks. You know, that they're not this
You
landlocked.
named a couple of, Swissvale and West Mifflin are not, you know, are a little bit more industrial.
West Mifflin, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where that's where you have to get to. The closer you get to Pittsburgh, that way it's not gonna work.
Century 3.
It is a dump already, that's right.
Yep, that's Mifflin.
Yeah.
Right.
Hello, we got a use for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So, no offense to the public. I think that's, okay. I'll be interested to see what Swissvale says.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
all right, so Marty, I appreciate you, you'll get that set up.
Yep.
We'll see who can hook up on that call, that'll be good. We'll start compiling this a little bit more, and further refining it. Now that it's in here and we've discussed, we'll start putting some numbers further refined for the lease costs and all those types of things.
Great.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other old business, any other items we need to address before moving on? Okay. Oops, I'm looking at the wrong one, I apologize. Any other new business for tonight? New items? Okay. The next meeting is scheduled for February the 11th at 6 p.m. don't believe I'll be at that meeting, not that that stops anything, but I just was thinking about discussing that. Any other items before we move to adjourn? Well, again, welcome to the, welcome to the,
Sure.
welcome to the meeting, welcome to Mount Lebanon.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for attending, and I look
Yeah.
forward to working with, all of us look forward to working with both of you.
Yeah.
So, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed to going home? Hearing none,
Thanks, Jim.
meeting's over.